Hello Saber fans, Shamim here. Got a video review for you guys today showing off the latest custom saber I finished up for a customer. This is for YouTube user Doomsday34. And he contacted me a while ago, asked me to do a V2 Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker Lightsaber with an Igniter 2 Soundboard install. And we ended up deciding to use the SaberForge Prodigal Son as the base upon which to do all the modifications and customizations to bring it up to something similar to a V2 Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker saber. For those of you who may not be aware of the differences and the history of the V2 lightsaber, just a quick bit of background. There were two primary lightsaber designs used in Return of the Jedi for Luke Skywalker's saber. The Hero prop and the V2 prop. The Hero one, which many of you are familiar with and associate immediately with Luke Skywalker's Episode 6 lightsaber, is something like this. This is a standard version of a SaberForge Prodigal Son, which is very similar to the Hero prop used in Return of the Jedi. You've got the control box here with the red and green arrows. You've got a little black greebly, those boxes there. You've got some copper side rails, and you got copper and black control key or circuit card. You got a tri-ring down here. It's kind of clean silver, black and silver grenade section, copper thin neck. There's no weathering anywhere. This is where the kill key is. This is an old model. But anyway, so this is the Hero version of the Luke Skywalker lightsaber. Compare this to the V2 prop. If you look closely at some of the screenshots, there are a couple scenes in which the Hero prop appears, most notably on the bridge on Endor when Luke and Vader are talking and Vader turns on Luke's lightsaber and says, "I see you've constructed a new lightsaber." And there's that close-up. That's the Hero prop with all this detailing here. Most of the fight scenes, if not all the fight scenes, and a couple of the scenes where, you know, Emperor Palpatine has it on his chair, or Luke grabs it immediately after R2 shoots it out of the air on Tatooine. Most of those scenes use a much more beaten up prop, which is completely different in terms of the details. There's a completely different circuit card. It's a Graflex clamp with a longer lever. There's a couple other buttons and knobs here and there. There's a lot of weathering going along the whole hilt. The copper is mostly gone. It's weathered emitter. So go and do some research on it. It's pretty cool, the history behind the inconsistencies in the prop department, not just for Return of the Jedi, but for most, if not all, of the Star Wars movies. There are a lot of inconsistencies in the props and particularly the lightsaber designs that are used. So this gives prop makers an opportunity to do two versions of the Luke Skywalker lightsaber, the Hero version and the V2 version. Those are the ways that prop makers and those in the custom saber community refer to the different versions, the Hero version and the V2. So Doomsday34 wanted the V2 version. So we started out with a Prodigal Son from SaberForge. And then I stripped all the weathering. I did everything. So I stripped all the color off, everything. Did some custom weathering. Got a Graflex clamp. Got the longer lever. We've got a Sloth Furnace card here, which is quite cool. I really like this this gorgeous circuit card design that Sloth Furnace did, which is very accurate to what was actually used in the movie. Down here, this is supposed to be a pointed cone knob, but I ended up using a SaberForge kill key because this is where the recharge port is hidden. And then we have a little screw here, vented for sound. I also installed a D-ring, which is accurate to the V2 prop as opposed to the tri-ring, which you have on the Hero edition. There's the blade retention screw up there. A little bit of weathering detail on the emitter. We'll give you some close-up shots of the weathering pattern across the thin neck. A little bit of weathering on the grenade section. The clamp is clean, as it is on the movie prop. And then down here you have a bit more weathering. The The pommel is pretty clean, but it has just a little bit of weathering, just to give it an overall consistent look, which I like when I do my weathering. As I mentioned, there's an Igniter 2 soundboard by Nigon's Electronic Creations in there. We have a tri-Cree XPE2 green-green-white LED for a green main blade with a white flash on clash. There are 16 sound fonts on the Igniter 2 soundboard, which is an insane number of sound fonts. I would never use 16, I hardly ever even use 2 sound fonts on my own sabers. I like one sound font, one color. I don't like the color changing and the multiple sound fonts, but it is really cool to have 16 different personalities and profiles on your lightsaber. So I believe there were 11 or 12 default sound fonts that came with it. And then Doomsday 34 and I collaborated to decide on some of the additional fonts to round out the 16. We got a 2-watt high bass Vico speaker in there. As I mentioned, here's our in-hilt recharge port for the 18650 lithium-ion battery. So I will get her fired up and we'll cycle through all 16 fonts just to give you an idea of the different profiles that this Igniter 2 soundboard has, and that this V2 lightsaber has. We'll get a blade in there, turn it on, and that will be the review. So here we go. Igniter 2 soundboard. We got the boot up sound. In here we have a main switch and an auxiliary switch. Move that D-ring out of the way. Main switch and auxiliary switch. So the main switch turns on the lightsaber. Got a little bit of pulsing green going. This is Mark 6 HD, which is an accurate rip of the Return of the Jedi sound font, or all the sound effects of Luke's lightsaber from Return of the Jedi. Got green, and then the bottom switch activates the auxiliary features, blaster deflection, and blade lockup. We got our white flash on clash. And then press and hold for blade lockup. And that flash is white as well. Press it to turn off, back to idle hum. Press and hold the main switch to turn it off. On the bottom one, you press it to play the current font's boot up sound, and then you can interrupt that font's boot up sound to advance to the next sound font.
I am a Jedi.
Standard.
Next one.
Essence. Episode 1.
Now, one thing that I've done since the green, green, and white are... Let me turn this off and talk. One thing that I've done with the green, green, white, each of the 3 dyes on the LED are individually addressable, which means that you can custom mix the shade of green between the green, green, and the white. So each one of the 16 sound fonts has a slightly different shade of green, and some of them even just have a plain white blade with a green flash on clash. Doomsday 34, if you just want everything to be the same green, you can go into the SD card, you can adjust that, or just shoot me a message, I'll fix that before I send it off to you. Otherwise, each font has a slightly different shade of green, just to add some additional variety, not just to the sounds, but to the lights as well. So like on this one, you can see that it's a much paler green. The white is up all the way and the greens are just barely there. And then the flash is green. And the same with the blaster, with the blade lockup. Let's keep cycling fonts.
Essence.
I believe that Hidden Warrior has some additional sound effects layered in with the hum. Let's see. Yep. Gives you the feeling of being immersed in a big battle with blasters and tanks going off. It's pretty cool. Although I don't know that that would really be a hidden warrior if you're in the middle of all this battle. Although maybe you're just hiding because you're afraid. Whee! Alright, keep going. Here we got another one that's a pure white. With a green flash on clash. Looks pretty cool with a white blade. I like it. Dark Relic. We got a much deeper dark side hum. Oh, those are pretty cool. This next one I really like.
The Dark Order.
This is Nigon's Kylo Ren font. And it's cool to hear it just with a single ignition without the crossguard going off as well. Listen to that hum. Whew. That's good. I like that. One more time, that deactivation was cool too. Woo! Gives me chills. Keep going.
The Dark Velocity.
Velocity. Ooh, that's nice. Got some cool swings. Clashes, what do we got? I really like the swings on this one. Yep. I'm putting that on one of my own sabers. One more time. That is sick.
Velocity.
Meteor. What do we got here? It's a little more subdued. Hum is just barely coming out. Ooh, interesting. Got some like plasma deflection going on. 501 Commando. I love that snap hiss ignition. Let's just do that one more time. That's the best. That's the best. Ooh, that's also nice with swings.
5.
Now that's what I call racing.
And the Pod Racer font. Because why not? Wait for it. Where's the Tusken Raider? There it is. I love that. Some nice Pod Racer sound effects from episode 1. Nice.
Now,
Yoda. You seek Yoda.
Yoda. This is a Dagobah sound font from SaberFont.com. Now we're getting into the ones that are outside of the default package. These additional sound fonts that Doomsday 34 wanted are mostly, if not all, Plector optimized sound fonts. The Igniter 2 is an NEC optimized soundboard, and so The fonts, as they exist on SaberFont.com that he purchased and sent to me to install on here, are not compatible. You need to do a lot of relayering of the audio files as well as renaming all the audio files. So I did that, and now he has Plector sound fonts available on the NEC Soundboard, which is cool. Gives you a nice environmental ambience of being on Dagobah. And the blaster deflection sound effects are all additional creature noises. But you still got the flash. And off. What else do we got? This is Hoth, I believe. Got that wind sound effect going in the snowstorm. Being from the frozen tundra of Minnesota, I appreciate the Hoth sound font. That's cool.
There is no mercy.
Yeah. This is No Mercy, Sidious. This is one of my all-time favorite sound fonts, No Mercy. Alright, what else we got?
Father, Son.
Father, Son, and then we got episode 2. What else do we got? Next is probably Essence 2.
Essence. Episode 2.
I think this is the last one. And back to I'm a Jedi.
I am a Jedi,
Called it.
like my father before me.
Alright, Master Jedi. Let's get a blade installed. I am a Jedi, like my father before me. Nice green. This green tri-Cree XB2 LED. It's gorgeous. I really like it. It's a beautiful color in person. On camera, it looks fine. God, that looks really, really nice on camera. I'm just looking at it. That looks like a real lightsaber. Let's get the flash on clash going. Got the white flashing on. Same for blaster deflection. And if he was smart, he wouldn't have thrown away his lightsaber so that he could do this when the Emperor shot some lightning at him. Oops. Deflected back at him, maybe. Instead of just being blasted around the catwalks like a whiny little farm boy. I joke. I love Luke Skywalker. He's my hero. Alright. I'll put the kill key back in. There is V2, Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker Lightsaber, modeled off of a SaberForge Prodigal Son. Igniter 2 soundboard with 16 sound fonts, all of them customizable, all the swing and clash sensitivities, all customizable via the SD card. Easy access to the SD card, you just unscrew the pommel, move the speaker aside, boom, you pop it out, put it into the computer, plug it back in, put the speaker in, twist in the pommel, you're good to go. This guy is built and warranted for full speed, full contact dueling. and it also makes a great display piece. So I hope that you enjoy it, Doomsday 34. It's been a pleasure working with you. I know you've got another project in line that you want to get started on sometime soon, but you will have to wait in line because I got 47 other people ahead of you. Sorry, that's crazy. I'm not doing anything this week besides building lightsabers for people. So, but it's fun. I really enjoy this. This is probably the most fun hobby I have ever been involved with. This community of lightsaber nerds is just a great community of people to be around and to learn from. You guys have been great. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. I look forward to posting more content for you guys to enjoy. And may the Force be with you always.